There's plenty of smart people, there's plenty of nice people, but to get the combination of both, that's really the key to Carine's success and really a big benefit to the Utah Valley and the entire state of Utah as well.
So I'm that super nerdy girl who ate lunch by herself every day, who had IBM punch cards in her locker, who probably smelled like formaldehyde because I worked in the human physiology porta-morgue. And there wasn't really a place for me. Like, tech wasn't a thing when I was growing up, but when I came to school, I was really good at computers. And then all of a sudden the tech took off in Utah and I got to ride a wave.
So like many people in this community, she got some of her early starts in Novell. And from there, Altiris.
At Altiris, she was director of marketing, then vice president of marketing. Then she became chief marketing officer at Symantec.
And then I left Symantec to become a CEO of a small startup, which was Allegiance, which was acquired by Meritz Market Research.
After that, she did Banyan, their customer experience kind of company as well.
And then today she's sitting on the venture capital side as one of the few women in a senior position in the investment world.
And has been one of those people who have been pivotal in the rise of the tech sector in the state.
She is a pillar of this community and of this valley. And it shows up because of all of the facets of what she's done, right? Sometimes we end up in just one channel, like we've built an exceptional career. But I think to be a pillar, it means you've done way more than that. You've recognized the needs of the community, you've jumped into that, you've been a mentor on personal levels, and you've built your career at the same time. That's who Carine is, and that's what she does, and that's how she shows up. I remember talking to her a couple of years ago about the things that she was doing for some of the student athletes at UVU, where she's took them under their wing, she was their personal mentor, and she thinks about that individual and about opportunities that she can create. And I think that pillars do that.
She gave a TED Talk once that was about really giving from yourself and making an abundant world for other people.
And people are surprised when I call some of my biggest competitors. A long time ago, that was Ryan Smith at Qualtrics, and said, people want us to fight, we should be friends, because I need Qualtrics to do well. And at the time, my company was bigger than Qualtrics, but I need Qualtrics to do well, just like I need UVU to do well, just like I need BYU to do well. I need each of these companies, these universities, these communities to do well, because my children are gonna live here. My granddaughter's gonna live here, and I need it to be a great place.
What sets Carine apart from others is that she is absolutely fearless. I have never met somebody who will go through any kind of wall or obstacle to get something done better than she does. So we used to joke that we would let Carine bore the hole and then we would all follow through.
People are surprised to find out that I was paralyzingly shy as a young person. And it wasn't until my parents moved from Germany to the United States and I stayed in Germany that I realized how painful it was to be shy. And I kind of figured out that I was letting fear determine my fate. And when I figured that out, I decided that it was okay to be shy and to be afraid, but I had to push through it and do things anyway. And that's kind of the secret to my success, is that even when I didn't feel like I was the leader or I should be the leader, I just went ahead and did it anyway.
I know early on in her career at Altiris, she was very bold in asking for what she needed. She was becoming a mom and dealing with some complicated pregnancies, and she was bold to say, this is what I need in my personal life, and they gave it to her. Because if you have someone like Carine on your team, you do whatever they need to keep them. And so I think she realized, hey, I am valuable. They kept me around on my terms. As she had success in her career and realized, I do bring value, she owns that. I think a lot of times as women, and myself included, we kind of self-deprecate and, well, I'm just this and just that. Carine is like, no, I'm this. I do deserve to be here around this table, and I'll show you why. And the rest of us take note.
For me, there isn't a massive ecosystem of fellow colleagues that are women. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to, and you need someone who's been there before and who can help you see a different perspective. And she has been a great advisor like that for me.
She's certainly competent, irrespective of gender, but something that I look at and see in her is she's pulled up other women in tech because she went first.
So a lot of times, unfortunately, a lot of young women, they can't be what they can't see. And that's a problem, because when you're explore, when you're trying to do new things or trying to do things that haven't been done before, you have to be brave and you have to go out there and you just have to do it. So I feel a tremendous responsibility to help them see what they can be and to help them believe that they can be on boards, they can start companies, they can be CEOs, they can lead.
Well, ever since her company Merit CX was building a building there in Thanksgiving Point, she made it an extra effort to connect with all of the, what she calls brethren of Silicon Slopes.
And to their credit, they know that they need her.
Carine's been very instrumental in Silicon Slopes from the beginning. You know, she's obviously been on stage and she's moderated and interviewed, but behind the scenes, she does even more. You can trace a lot of things back to Carine that if she wouldn't have taken the time and effort, who knows what would have happened, but it probably wouldn't have been as good.
For instance, in Utah County, we're building a new hospital for primary children's. She jumped right in and said, oh, let me get these guys involved. Let me help you get them on your list. I'll help you get them interested in what's going on. And she's been very good at doing that.
So I was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago, a horrible cancer. So ovarian clear cell cancer. Most people don't know someone who survived that because most people don't survive. That was a really hard thing for all of us, not just for me.
I mean, at the time we didn't know whether or not she was going to make it.
And I tried my best to make her promise me that she wouldn't die, and she wouldn't do it. But she did promise me that she was going to try her hardest and she was going to do everything she could.
And she really did. Like, she wanted to fight it as aggressively as possible and convinced her doctors to put her on the most aggressive chemotherapy that they possibly could.
I remember talking with her about it, and all she told me was, this cancer picked the wrong host.
She fought for her life, and here she is today, still blessing people's lives.
When I got diagnosed with cancer, people were kind, they were sending notes, they were sending flowers. I appreciated all of it. But when I got the phone call from her, she gave me some sympathy, but then she also gave me a big talking to. Jeanette, you stand up. You fight this thing. You're gonna beat it. We need you on this earth. Stand up. She was like my military sergeant. And she was my biggest cheerleader and still is through that whole thing.
Carine races for the cure for cancer every year because she's had cancer, and she'll humbly ask her friends to donate.
I think she's still the largest individual fundraiser for the Huntsman Cancer Institute.
But when she went through cancer, she realized, hey, you know, I'm gonna die. And therefore, I'm not gonna wait around like for doing family trips and for like spoiling grandkids and you know, doing those things. I'm just gonna cherish every moment that I still have on this earth.
They're why I do everything that I do. And when my boys were younger, they'd say, Mom, this feels really hard. And I'm like, it's a good thing that this family does hard things. And thankfully they believed me.
And when I think about the hard things that she's done, it inspires me to be able to overcome any of the things any of the challenges that I have.
But I've learned that these hard things will bless us in our lives, and that as we keep going, that we will be able to do whatever we want.
Carine, congratulations. Thank you for everything you've done for me personally and for the community.
You've been there for my good days, my hard days, and I'm so grateful. You're awesome, Carine.
Love you, Mom, and congrats on this.